Charles always carried himself like life was one big challenge, a game he could win with nothing but a smirk and confidence. I told myself I wouldn't get caught up in his little games, but when I found myself alone with him that evening, the line between playful banter and something deeper blurred dangerously. What starts as a game sometimes awakens feelings we never meant to face. The apartment lights were low, warm shadows stretching across the living room. I had curled up on the couch in my oversized night sweater, trying to focus on the movie we'd put on. But I wasn't watching the screen. I was watching Charles. He sat at the far end, wearing that olive green sweater that hugged his frame a little too well, his deep blue eyes reflecting the flicker of the television. Sometimes it's not what's on the screen that keeps your attention, it's who's sitting next to you. He leaned toward me with a grin. "You know this is just a game, right?" he teased, his voice smooth, almost daring. I raised an eyebrow. "And what game are we playing exactly?" "The one where you pretend you don't notice me watching you," he said, smirking. My chest tightened. His words cut through the safe distance I had been keeping, and suddenly the room felt smaller, warmer. I looked away, clutching the edge of the blanket draped over me. When someone names the truth out loud, it's impossible to ignore the tension anymore. He slid closer, slow but deliberate, until the space between us vanished. His arm brushed mine, barely a touch, but enough to set sparks racing across my skin. I swallowed, trying to steady my voice. "You're too confident," I whispered, though it came out softer than I meant. Charles tilted his head, the mischievous glint in his eyes now softened by something else. Or maybe I just know what I want. The air thickened. My heart drummed, and my breath hitched when his hand inched toward mine on the couch. He didn't grab it. He just let his fingers hover close enough that I could feel the warmth of his skin. The most dangerous touches are the ones that almost but don't quite happen. I should have pulled away. I should have reminded him of the rules I made for myself. But instead, I stayed perfectly still, waiting. His lips curved into a slow smile, as if he knew I wouldn't move. "Still think it's just a game?" he asked, his voice low. I finally looked at him, really looked. Tousled dark hair, sharp jawline, that unreadable depth in his blue eyes. My mouth opened to respond, but no words came out. Instead, I exhaled a shaky breath. Sometimes silence speaks louder than the bravest words. Charles took it as permission. He leaned closer, his shoulder pressing against mine now, his scent mingling with the faint vanilla candle burning on the coffee table. Every inch of me tensed in anticipation. "Your lips," he murmured, "they're telling the truth already." My chest rose sharply as his face hovered a breath away. My mind screamed to turn away, to keep this playful, safe, just teasing. But my body betrayed me. I didn't move. Desire doesn't wait for permission from logic. It burns where it's not supposed to. He closed the last inch, and his lips brushed mine, gentle at first, questioning, almost afraid of rejection. The touch was so light it could have been a dream. I froze, my heart pounding loud in my ears. And then, against every rule I had set, I leaned into him. The moment you stop resisting is the moment the truth finally takes over. Our kiss deepened slowly, his hand finally finding mine, fingers intertwining as though this was never meant to be a game at all. The couch creaked softly as we shifted closer, the blanket sliding off my shoulders. My sweater slipped lower, revealing skin that shivered under the glow of candlelight. Charles broke the kiss just long enough to whisper against my lips, "So, still just a game?" I didn't answer. Instead, I pulled him back to me. Some answers are too dangerous to speak. They're written in touch, in breath, in lips that refuse to let go. His lips lingered on mine, but this wasn't the same playful Charles the first had known. The teasing smile was gone, replaced with intensity, a hunger that I had never seen in him before. My chest rose and fell faster, as I tried to keep up with the storm he had just unleashed inside me. When someone stops pretending, the truth they reveal can feel unstoppable. Charles pulled back just enough to study my face. His thumb brushed my cheek, his touch softer than his eyes. "I wasn't lying when I said I like games," he murmured. "But this isn't one." I shivered, my fingers tightening around his wrist. I wanted to argue, to tell him he was wrong, but the words caught in my throat. My heart knew he was telling the truth. The hardest battles aren't against another person, they're inside yourself. He shifted, moving closer until his knee pressed against mine, anchoring me in place. I could smell him, fresh soap, something musky, something purely him. My pulse raced as his hand traced slowly down my arm, leaving goosebumps in its wake. I whispered, "You'll ruin me, Charles." He smiled faintly, but his voice was steady. "Or maybe I'll finally set you free." The most dangerous promises are the ones that sound like salvation. Before I could respond, his lips found mine again. Firmer this time, no hesitation, no question. I melted, every wall I'd built crumbling under the weight of his certainty. The warmth of his body pressed into mine, and the couch seemed too small to hold us both. I gasped against his mouth, and he pulled back only to murmur, "Say it. Tell me you want this." But I couldn't say it. My silence was enough, and he knew it. Sometimes words aren't needed. The truth is written in the way we don't let go. The candlelight flickered wildly, as though the room itself felt the shift. Charles tugged me gently, pulling me into his lap, my knees bent on either side of him. My sweater slipped further, revealing more than I intended, but his eyes never left mine. "You're shaking," he said softly. "Because I'm terrified," I admitted. "Of me?" "Of myself," I whispered. "The scariest thing is realizing you want exactly what you said you shouldn't." His hand cupped the back of my neck, grounding me. "Then stop fighting it." And I did. I kissed him with everything I had been holding back, every unspoken word, every buried desire. His grip tightened at my waist, holding me as though letting go wasn't an option anymore. The movie still played in the background, forgotten. The world outside might as well not have existed. All that mattered was the heat between us, the rhythm of our breathing, the honesty of lips that refused to lie anymore. The rest of the world fades when the truth finally finds you in someone's arms. Time blurred. I don't know how long we stayed like that, tangled in each other, whispering fragments of confessions we'd both been too afraid to admit before. My laughter mixed with his sighs, my fingertips tracing the line of his jaw, his thumb brushing across my lower lip. At one point, he pulled back, his forehead resting against mine. "You are never just a game to me," he confessed, voice rough with emotion. My chest ached at his honesty, my throat tight as I whispered, "And you are never supposed to be my truth." The deepest truths are the ones we try the hardest to deny. We stayed there until the candles burned low, until the room was draped in shadows. And even then, neither of us moved away. His hand never left mine, my head never left his shoulder. I realized, somewhere between his words and his kiss, that the lines had already been crossed long before tonight. This wasn't a game. It never had been. By the time you realize it's real, it's already too late to turn back. Charles kissed me once more, slower this time, almost reverent. "So tell me," he whispered against my lips, "was it worth breaking your own rules?" I let out a shaky breath, my answer written in the way I kissed him back, deeper than before. And for once, I didn't care about the rules at all. Love doesn't ask for permission. It takes, it claims, and it leaves you changed forever.